Your first 60 minutes awake could be the most important health conversation you've never had. I've seen patients make the same morning mistake for 18 years, and it often leads to an emergency. Stick around, because I'm going to reveal what it is. Here's what nobody tells you. The moment your alarm goes off, your body is already under attack. Not from a virus, not from a fall, from the very habits you've practiced every single morning for decades. And the numbers are terrifying. Data from the Framingham Heart Study, one of the longest-running cardiovascular studies in human history, shows that heart attack rates spike 40% between 6 a.m. and noon. Stroke rates? Up 49% in that same window. 49%. That's not a small margin. That's nearly half again more likely. And most people have no idea it's happening to them right now, this morning, as they reach for their phone. I'm going to walk you through 5 specific morning mistakes and the 8-minute protocol that can protect your heart starting tomorrow. But I want you to pay close attention to mistake number 3, because it's the one that surprises people the most. They never see it coming. We'll get there in just a moment. First, let's understand what's actually happening inside your body the second you open your eyes. There's a process called the cortisol awakening response. Your cortisol, your body's main stress hormone, surges by 75% within the first 30 minutes of waking. 75%. At the same time, your heart rate climbs, your blood vessels constrict, and your blood has been thickening all night from 8 hours without water. Your heart right now is running at near its maximum physiological load. It's sprinting before you've even put your feet on the floor, and that's before you make a single mistake. When you add these 5 habits on top of that already stressed cardiovascular system, you create the perfect storm for an emergency. So let's talk about mistake number 1. And I need you to think carefully about what you did this very morning. Did you throw back the covers and jump out of bed the moment your alarm went off? Most people do. It feels energetic, productive, like you're winning the morning. But here's what's actually happening inside your body when you do that. When you're lying down, your blood pressure is naturally lower. Your circulatory system has settled into a resting state. Then you suddenly stand on top of blood that's already thick and sluggish from dehydration, and your body simply cannot pump blood to your brain fast enough. The medical term is orthostatic hypotension, a sudden drop in blood pressure upon standing. And the result is dizziness, unsteadiness, or complete blackout. In adults over 65, falls in the bedroom and bathroom are the leading cause of serious injury. We're not talking about a minor stumble. We're talking about hip fractures that can change the entire trajectory of someone's life. And it starts with something as simple as getting out of bed too fast. Now here's the thing I want you to hold on to for a moment. I'm going to give you the exact solution for this. But I want you to first understand mistake number 2, because it happens in the very next room. And it's one that even doctors rarely warn their patients about. You walk into the bathroom, and what happens in there? Every morning, without thinking about it, you bear down. You hold your breath and strain. It's just a normal part of life. But physiologically, what you are doing is called the Valsalva maneuver. And the pressure it creates inside your chest is extraordinary. When you hold your breath and strain, you dramatically reduce the amount of blood returning to your heart. Then, the moment you stop, your heart overcorrects. It pumps hard to catch up. Blood pressure spikes suddenly and sharply. And here's the part your doctor probably never said out loud. That pressure spike is strong enough to rupture vulnerable arterial plaques that have been quietly building in your blood vessels for years. When a plaque ruptures, a clot forms instantly. And a clot in the wrong artery is a heart attack, right there in your bathroom. This morning, while you thought everything was fine, I know that's a lot to process. Stay with me, because we're not even to the most surprising one yet. If you want to protect yourself starting tomorrow morning, hit that like button right now. It helps more people like you find this information. And keep watching, because the 8-minute protocol at the end of this video is something you can start using immediately. Mistake number 3. This is the one that catches people off guard. This is the one I mentioned at the very beginning. And I need you to be honest with yourself as I describe it. What's the very first thing you do after you turn off your alarm? If you're like most people, and I mean most, not some, you pick up your phone. You check your messages. You scroll through the news. Maybe you see something upsetting. Maybe there's a financial headline that triggers anxiety. Maybe there's a message from a family member that frustrates you. Maybe the news is just relentless and dark, as it often is. And you think, well, it's just a few minutes of reading. What's the harm? Here's the harm. Your body is already flooded with cortisol from the cortisol awakening response. Remember that 75% surge? And now you're adding a second wave adrenaline. Acute emotional stress, even mild stress, even the kind you barely notice because it's become so normal, dumps significant amounts of adrenaline into a cardiovascular system that is already maxed out. Research published in the Journal of the American Medical Association documents that acute stress raises blood pressure by 20 to 40 mmHg. That's not a small number. That's the difference between normal and hypertensive emergency territory. On top of that, stress makes your platelets, the cells that form blood clots, significantly stickier, more likely to clump together, more likely to block an artery. The combination of peak cortisol, thick morning blood, constricted vessels, and a sudden adrenaline spike from emotional stress is one of the most dangerous cardiovascular cocktails a human body can experience. And millions of people create this cocktail voluntarily every single morning before they've even had a glass of water. Put the phone down. Seriously. I'll explain exactly when and how to reintroduce it safely in just a moment. Mistake number 4 is one that the fitness world will not like me saying. But the evidence is clear, and I'd rather have you healthy than popular. If you're someone who prides yourself on getting up early and exercising first thing in the morning, good for you. That discipline is admirable. But if you are exercising intensely before you've rehydrated your body, before your blood vessels have had time to dilate, before your cardiovascular system has adjusted from its nighttime resting state, you are pushing your heart into a condition called demand ischemia. That means your heart muscle is demanding more oxygen than your blood vessels can actually deliver. The demand outstrips the supply. In younger, perfectly healthy hearts with clean arteries, the body usually manages this. In older hearts, or hearts with even mild blockages you may not yet know about, this gap between demand and supply can trigger a cardiac event. The fix is not to stop exercising. Exercise is one of the most powerful medicines we have. The fix is to hydrate first, warm up slowly, and give your body 15 to 20 minutes to wake up before you ask anything demanding of it. Now, I saved the most important mistake for last. And I need you to pay close attention to this one, because it could save your life or someone else's. This is mistake number 5. Most people think a heart attack looks like the movies. Clutching the chest, falling dramatically to the ground. The reality, especially in older adults, and especially in women, is almost nothing like that. The symptoms are quiet. They are easy to dismiss, easy to rationalize, and that's exactly why they're so dangerous. A heart attack can feel like a heavy pressure in your shoulder, not pain pressure. Like someone laid a heavy coat across one's shoulder, and it just won't go away. It can feel like a dull ache in your jaw or the back of your teeth, the kind you might blame on sleeping in an awkward position. It can feel like being slightly short of breath climbing the stairs, not gasping, just a little more winded than usual. And it can feel like an exhaustion so deep and bone level that no amount of coffee seems like it would help. a fatigue that arrives with the morning and mysteriously eases after 10 to 20 minutes. That last one is critical. A fatigue that comes in the morning and then gets better is not normal aging. It is a whisper, and whispers, when ignored long enough, become emergencies. If any of these symptoms sound familiar, shoulder heaviness, jaw discomfort, unusual morning fatigue that fades, please see your doctor. Not next month, not when you get around to it, this week. Comment below right now and tell me, have you ever experienced any of these quiet symptoms? You might be surprised how many people in this community have the same story. And your comment might help someone else recognize what they're feeling. Now, I promised you a solution, and here it is. This is the 8-minute heart protection protocol. 8 minutes, that's it. You can do this starting tomorrow morning with zero equipment, zero medication, and zero cost. It is a direct counter to every single one of the 5 mistakes I just described. And it is built on sound cardiovascular physiology, not wellness trends. Minute 1. Before your feet touch the floor, while you are still lying in bed, take a slow, deep breath. Inhale for 4 seconds. Hold for 4 seconds. Exhale for 6 seconds. Do this 3 to 4 times. This is not just relaxation. This is a deliberate activation of your parasympathetic nervous system, the brake system of your body. It counters the cortisol surge. It begins lowering blood pressure before you've moved a single muscle. 4 seconds in, 4 seconds hold, 6 seconds out. That longer exhale is the key. It's the exhale that activates the vagus nerve and starts pulling your cardiovascular system back from its stress peak. 1 minute. That's all it takes. Minute 2. Hydration. Before you do anything else, before you stand up, before you check anything, before you speak a word, drink a full glass of water. I'm going to suggest something specific here. Put a glass of room temperature water on your nightstand before you go to sleep every night. Room temperature, not cold. Cold water can cause brief vascular constriction in people with sensitive cardiovascular systems. Room temperature water absorbs faster and doesn't shock the system. That one glass begins thinning your blood almost immediately. It is the single cheapest, fastest cardiovascular intervention available to any human being on the planet. 1 glass, nightstand, every night. Starting tonight, minute 3. Still sitting on the edge of the bed, don't stand yet. Rotate your ankles, both of them, slow circles, both directions. Then, lift your heels and lower them repeatedly. Press the balls of your feet into the floor and raise your heels, then lower. This might seem trivial, but it is physiologically significant. Your calf muscles are often called the second heart. They contain a dense network of deep veins, and when those muscles contract, they actively pump blood upward toward the heart. By activating your calf pump while you're still sitting before the full demand of standing, you're recruiting your body's own circulatory assist mechanism. You are literally helping your heart before it has to work alone. 30 seconds of ankle circles, 30 seconds of heel raises. Your blood pressure adjusts. Your brain gets the blood flow it needs. Minute 4. Still seated at the edge of the bed, gently roll your neck from side to side. Slow shoulder rolls forward and backward, not stretches, rolls. You are not trying to improve flexibility right now. You are waking up the muscles and joints surrounding your spine and the major blood vessels of your neck. Gentle mobilization at this stage gets blood moving through the upper body without spiking demand. It prepares the cardiovascular system for what's about to happen, standing. Minute 5. Now you stand, slowly. This is not a suggestion, it is a physiological instruction. Rise deliberately, with intention, using your arms to assist if helpful. And then, this is the part most people skip: stand still. Don't walk yet. Stand at the edge of the bed for 15 to 20 seconds. Let your baroreceptors, the pressure sensors in your blood vessels, recalibrate. Let your body confirm that blood pressure is stable before you take your first step. These 15 seconds are the difference between safe and dangerous. They cost you nothing. They could save everything. Minutes 6 through 8. Personal care, medication if applicable, and quiet. No phone, no news, no screens. Brush your teeth, wash your face, take any prescribed medications, and do all of this in silence or with calm. Gentle background sound if you prefer. The goal of these final 3 minutes is to allow your cardiovascular system to complete its natural morning stabilization before you introduce the demands of information and decision-making. You are not avoiding reality. You are simply letting your heart get ready for the day before you ask it to carry the weight of the world. Your phone will still be there in 8 minutes. The news will still be there. Your messages will still be there. But your heart needs these 8 minutes first. I know some of you are thinking, my mornings are chaotic. But here's the truth. Minutes 1 and 2 require 0 movement and 0 disruption to anyone around you. The breathing and the glass of water happen before your feet touch the floor. The ankle rotations and standing pause take 30 seconds combined. If that's all you take from this video, it still matters. And if this gave you even one thing you didn't know before, subscribe right now. We make videos like this every week, specifically for people in this stage of life. Not generic health content, not advice designed for 30-year-olds. Content for people who have put in the decades and want to protect every year still ahead. Because here's what I want to leave you with. Your body has been sending you signals every morning as it makes that difficult physiological transition from sleep to wakefulness. It is doing the most dangerous thing it does all day, and it's doing it quietly, without drama, without warning. The cortisol awakening response is not a flaw in your design. It's ancient biology, built for survival. But our mornings today, alarms jolting us awake, phones pulling at our attention before we've had a moment to exist, are not what that biology was designed for. You are applying ancient hardware to a modern morning, and the mismatch, repeated over thousands of mornings, accumulates. The 5 mistakes we covered today are not exotic medical problems. They are not rare. They are the things almost every person does, every single morning, without giving them a second thought. Getting up too fast, straining in the bathroom, checking the phone immediately, exercising before rehydrating, and ignoring the quiet symptoms that might be the first whisper of something serious. 5 things. Any one of which, on the wrong morning, with the wrong underlying condition, could change everything. But the 8-minute protocol changes the math. It gives your heart the runway it needs. It works with your biology instead of against it. And it asks almost nothing of you except intention and consistency. One final thing. Think of one person in your life, a parent, a friend, a neighbor who does exactly what I described every morning. Someone who jumps out of bed, strains in the bathroom, reaches for their phone before they've taken a breath. Someone who would never search for this on their own. Share this video with them. The right information from someone who cares at the right moment, that's how most people actually change. Leave a comment below. Tell me which of the 5 mistakes you recognized in yourself. Tell me if you've already tried any part of this protocol and what you noticed. Tell me if there's a morning health topic you want me to cover next. I read every comment in this community, and your questions shape what we make next. If this video earned it, give it a like. It genuinely helps other people who need this find it. Subscribe if you haven't already. And I'll see you in the next one, where we're going to talk about something most people get completely backwards when it comes to evening habits and heart health, a pattern that sets the stage for exactly the dangerous morning we discussed today. You're going to want to see that one. I'll see you there.